Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make vegan cheesy leek tarts. So for the first part, I'm going to show you how to make the dough. This will be what you use to make the crust of your tarts. You're going to start with adding 5 grams of salt to a bowl, and I highly suggest you use a weighted scale because that's the best way to measure any sort of dry goods as well as liquid goods. And then you're going to add 125 grams of whole wheat flour, followed by 100 grams of all-purpose flour. You're going to then mix the salt and flours with a baby whisk. So for our fat, I've chosen to go with vegetable shortening. However, you can use vegan butter, coconut oil, whatever you choose. So you're gonna add 75 grams of vegan shortening to your flour mixture. And then you're gonna add it and mix it by hand until you get the texture of wet sand. When you're done and you have that really nice wet sand texture, you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cold water. If it's a little dry after you start mixing it, feel free to add a little bit more water, 1 tablespoon at a time. After you've added the water, you're gonna start to knead in order to form a dough that will consist of your pie crust. So eventually it will start to come together, but you do not want to over knead it. So once you have a ball, don't continue kneading, just keep it. In this next section, we're going to talk about how to make the filling. So I used 2 leeks. You're going to prep 2 leeks by washing them thoroughly. You will first start by chopping off the fibrous tops. You can choose to save these, wash them, and use them in veggie broth, or discard them as you would and compost them with your other vegetables. Then you're going to chop your leek into thin slices. The white part especially, this is what you will use to make your filling and add it to the top of your tart. After you've chopped all of your leeks, save 6 on the side after you've washed them because these will go on the top of your tart. Alright, so washing the leek is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to rinse it in water and make sure to get all of the dirt out of the crevices of the leek several times. I normally do this about 3 times with the white parts of the leek that you will use and also the ends that you will later put into your veggie broth. So once you're done, you're going to saute 1.5 of those leeks in some veggie broth or oil. You're going to add them to a blender and then add half a cup of raw cashews, 2 tablespoons of raw onion, as well as a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of white miso paste, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of tapioca starch, and half a cup of vegetable broth and salt. You're going to blend it up, and then you're going to end up with a very nice smooth filling. Before you start adding the pastry, make sure to grease your mini tart molds. Next, we're going to work on the assembly. So you're going to roll out your previous dough that you made at the beginning of this video and of your process, and you're going to roll it out to about 1/4 inch in thinness. And what I do, as you will see here once it's rolled out, I lay it over my mini tart molds in order to make it easier for myself. You could do it in whichever way that you prefer, but this is the one that I choose to do. Please let me know any tips if you have a better way. Then I carefully shape the crust into the molds by patting it down and adding a little bit of pressure in order to get those really nice crevices. And then because I did it all together, I cut them in order to separate the molds with just any old pair of scissors you have around the kitchen. And of course, I save all of the crust wraps because I just join these together and then I roll it out to make the crust necessary to fill the remaining 2 mini tart molds. Okay, so once that's done, you're gonna pre-bake these mini pie tart crusts for 15 minutes in an oven at 375 degrees. I added some pie weights. You can use rice or beans in order to do this, but this helps to not get the infamous soggy bottom. Once baked, you're going to trim all of the excess pie crust in order to have a very level pie tart with just any old scissors, and then make sure to toss those out. You're going to fill the tart mold 3/4 of the way until they are nice and beautifully filled. After that, you're going to take your 6 mini leek circles and add 1 to each tart as well. And this is optional, but I chose to do it because it looks very pretty. Add 3 slices of zucchini and some vegan cheese scraps of your choice. You will then proceed to lightly spray the tarts with some spray oil and then put them in a pre-baked oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 minutes. After this time, you will take them out when the crust is nice and brown and the tarts have a slight jiggle in the middle, but very nicely set. Once you're done, you're gonna let them cool for about 15 to 20 minutes before you take them out of the molds, and then you can enjoy.